Hello everybody, welcome to my latest video. I have done a quick, I suppose, overview of Rogue Trader before. I never really got into it, and there are a couple of reasons for that. First off, I tried to play this like a normal video game. That was my first mistake, and I will go into why shortly. And secondly, it seemed to be a little bit slow-paced for my preferences. Now, I don't know whether my gaming choices have changed, or whether I'm kind of pigeonholing myself into a certain genre or something like that, but I've since been playing this quite a lot, and things have definitely changed for the better. Now, I think that's my perception that's changed rather than the game. There's been no updates to the game, so it's definitely me. But I want to go into more detail about why. So first and foremost, my really weird statement previously about I was trying to play this like a video game. The reason I said that was because when I first played this, I played it in normal difficulty. And maybe it's a skill issue, but I found that ridiculously hard. The combat is, as with all of these CRPGs, turn-based, but not just turn-based, it's also down to your initiative. So your characters, for example, might not all go in a row. You might have one of your characters go, then 4 of the enemy, then 2 of your characters, then another 3 of the enemy, and it's all down to what your initiative role is. Very, very similar to a pen and paper roleplay game, which is what CRPGs are trying to reproduce, I guess is the correct term. Now, I moved this onto story difficulty. And a lot of you might be rolling your eyes at that. But for this game, for me, that really works. So if you're struggling with this type of game, as in CRPGs, and I'm not talking about Divinity Original Sin or Baldur's Gate 3 or anything like that, I'm talking about things like Rogue Trader, then maybe dropping the difficulty down will help. It definitely has sped up the gameplay for me, because I'm not constantly trying to keep my characters alive. Yes, I have had characters still go unconscious, but it's definitely more of an enjoyable experience. Now, for those who haven't seen my previous video, I'm going to go into a little bit more of what this game is about. So it's set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, a bit like Inquisitor Martyr, but in this you play as the titular Rogue Trader. Now, Rogue Traders, for those people who don't know, are a really weird bunch of people where they are given a warrant of trade by the Imperium, specifically the Emperor. I'm not sure how, because he can't write, but they are given this warrant of trade, and it gives them ridiculous amounts of authority and power in the Imperium. They have the ability to literally hire anyone they like, and in this game there is the option to add Adeptus Arbites, which are kind of like enforcers, police. You can add interrogators, who are part of the Inquisition. You can add Space Marines, Adeptus Astartes. Now, although they don't necessarily work for you, you are powerful enough that they are there to help you and you help them. Now, the general person in the Imperium would have no idea, and basically they would never ever be involved in any sort of activity with an Inquisitor, for example. The only time they would is if they're under investigation, and trust me, that wouldn't go very well. Adeptus Astartes, again, they would never have any interaction. In fact, most people in the Imperium never ever see a Space Marine. They are that rare in the 41st millennium. 42nd if we're in today's numbers. But the actual Rogue Trader themselves has a complete retinue. They have a ship of thousands of people, if not tens of thousands of people. They control a certain number of planets. They are extremely powerful people. So you're playing as one of these extremely powerful nobles, I guess. It gives you certain amounts of freedom with what you can do. Now, you can decide to romance some of your retinue, you can decide to annoy them, you can decide not to take them on at all. You do have a lot of freedom, just like in any other RPG. You can even miss some of the characters if you don't pick the right options for the discussions. Now, one thing I would say is if you don't like reading, you might struggle with this game. There is a lot of text in this. Some of it is voice acted, most of it isn't. And again, initially when I played this, I thought that was extremely disappointing. I would have liked to have seen all of the text voice acted. I guess I've been spoilt with things like the Elder Scrolls, where nearly all of the text, well, all of the text in the main Elder Scrolls games is voice acted. I think the reason for this not being fully voice acted is A, it's a relatively small studio, and B, there is so much of it. And it's so branching. You have different paths about what type of person you want to be, whether you're dogmatic, an iconoclast, a heretic. You can pick what you want to be. And the interaction you have with each of your retinue will change depending on which way you decide to go. So I am predominantly dogmatic, so my Adepta Sororitas battle sister, or sister of battle, really likes me because she's also dogmatic, whereas my heretical, and she's not a heretic, she's just got heretical tendencies, Psyker is a little more reserved and a little more wary around me, and it does affect how they react to you and also what conversation trees you get with them. So what does this actually mean? As a game, this is one of those things that if you like pen and paper roleplay games, and you like video games, the chances are you're going to love it. If you like the 40k universe, and you want to basically try and transplant that into a video game, you're probably going to love it. It's not quite to the same degree as Demon Hunters, so Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, which is pretty much one for one what you would expect from a 40k tabletop game. This is definitely more roleplay version. If you turned 40k into an actual roleplay game, this is it, basically. But there's a lot to like. The character design is really nice. The world is really nice. There are some camera issues. I'm definitely not going to say it's perfect with the camera. I have had quite a few instances where a wall has blocked my vision completely, to the extent where not even the green shows up. I think the wall forgets to disappear, or the game doesn't tell the wall to disappear, or whatever it might be, so you end up completely blind. Luckily you can rotate the camera, but I'm one of these people who likes to keep the camera in the orientation the game originally puts you in. So when you enter an area, the camera is orientated in a certain direction, and I like to keep it that way. That being said, as you can see, there are times when I do rotate to get a better view of what I'm looking at. It can throw me off though, so there's that as well. Now, as far as gameplay, it's obviously, as I said, not just turn-based but also initiative-based combat. As for the rest of it, you have cargo. You are a trader after all, so you have your cargo, you have your equipment. Your equipment can change, and it does affect what abilities you have. There are certain items that you cannot equip on certain characters. So for example, because of the background I picked for my character, I cannot equip things like bolt pistols, bolters, or anything of that nature, which is quite disappointing. I would have liked to have been able to equip bolt pistols, etc. Now, I think I picked the Commissar background, which you would have thought Commissars would have been able to hold bolt pistols and chainswords, but for some reason I can't. But the Battle Sister obviously can. And we have Tech Priests, we have assassins, lots of different types of character that can be put into the retinue. You can even, if you want to, create your own retinue from non-story-based characters. Now, that does limit some of your speech options, so your conversation options. If you take certain characters with you into certain areas, they will open up different conversation branches. So for instance, if you go to an area where they're talking about navigators, for example, if you've taken your navigator with you, she will be able to join in that conversation. So something to think about. Unfortunately, you never know which ones are going to be worthwhile before you go to an area. So it might be you need to do that when you basically replay the game. That being said, it is a long game. I am currently in the second act. Now, I know there are at least 3, because the Space Wolf, which is the character I really want to get because I love Space Wolves, isn't available until Act 3 from what I have read. Whether there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know, but there's definitely 3. And I think the first act took me about 15 to 20 hours to complete. And I didn't do absolutely everything. As in, I didn't go into every little corner of every map. So consider this is a big game. Now, interestingly, there is also ship combat in this. And it's a little bit weird because the combat for your ships is exactly the same as the combat for your people. You have initiative based, you have a grid which you move your ships around, but you do see them fly and you do see them shooting their guns. So it's a very, very similar system. It's just your people are replaced by ships and the floor is replaced by space. It's definitely a 2D method in 3 dimensions, if that makes sense at all. It does work though, and you can upgrade your ship, you can put better armour on, better weapons on, lots of other things like that. So it's something that if you're into games where you can have a little bit of side games, like mini games or something like that, I guess that could be considered a mini game, and it does work. It really does work. All being said, I think in reality, this is definitely better than I originally believed. Now, they have just announced a new game, which is 40k Dark Heresy, I think it's called. It seems to be the same sort of game as this, but instead of being a rogue trader, you're, well, I don't know what you are, to be honest, but there are Ogryns. It seems to be the same group of people from Darktide, which of course is the 40k version from Fat Shark, which is the 40k version of Vermintide. So yeah, I'm not quite sure, but it's a CRPG 40k universe, but with a different group of people. I'm not sure how else it's going to play out, but trust me, I will be reviewing it when it does land. I have wishlisted it, so it will be something that I will be notified when it comes out. Hopefully I will have the cash at the time and I can pick it up, and if I do, or when I do I should say, I will definitely do a quick first look of that and then a more detailed review afterwards. That being said, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of combat, because the whole game in the background that's been playing on screen has been more RPG style and not the combat style. So leave you with this, and I will say to you, I hope you have enjoyed the video and found it interesting and useful. If you have, make sure you click that like button, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and please do leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this game, and I look forward to seeing you for my next video very soon. You all take care, bye for now, and enjoy this fight.
Aim for the heart next time.
Let's make it quick.
I'm here, maggots.
Is a reward. Running binary override. The on-side
throne take you. Make it.
Hold on. Let's get to it.
Won't die here.
This will leave a scar.
I'm a member.
It's as good as done.
What's the mandatory ocular augmentation?
I'll make it happen. Who if not me? Here's my perfect moment.
For the throne's glory. But of course, Lord Captain.
On it.
Can't you throw at someone?
No can do. There is movement in the Empyrean. That is not my destiny. On it. Farewell. Was that you? Or will do.
Out of my way. Suffering is part of the trial. Running by
The enemy.
request approved. Cogitation failed. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. Let's make it quick.
The Emperor is on our side.